Welcome to this explainer. Okay, I want you to imagine this scenario for a second. You wake up and your mind is just flooded with ambition. You tell yourself, today is the day. Today, you're finally going to start working out, or you're going to launch that business, or sit down and study for that massive exam. You are totally ready. But then, hours just kind of slip away. You find yourself scrolling, telling yourself you're just going to watch one more short video, and then you whisper that all too familiar lie, I'll just start tomorrow. Look, we have all been there. But today, we're going to uncover the hidden, ancient psychology behind exactly why you do this.
It really is a start question, isn't it? Why do we always say, I'll start tomorrow? Society constantly tells us it's because we're unmotivated, or that we're just lazy. But what if we've been looking at this completely wrong the entire time? What if motivation isn't some magical personality trait that you just happen to lack, but actually something else entirely? Well, here is the massive paradigm shift. Your brain isn't broken. It is ancient. The surprising truth here is that your neurological hardware didn't evolve to help you ace a university exam or build a modern career. Not at all. It evolved with one primary directive, and that was to conserve energy and survive. So what we modern humans call motivation is actually a prehistoric survival mechanism.
Part 1. The survival brain. To really grasp why we procrastinate, we have to take a trip back about 50,000 years into our evolutionary psychology. Imagine living in that era. Every single calorie mattered. Finding a meal required running, climbing, hunting. It cost enormous amounts of physical energy. If you wasted energy on something unnecessary, you literally increased your chances of starving to death. Now, look at today. Food is everywhere, and technology does all of our heavy lifting. And yet your brain is still running on that exact same 50,000-year-old software. It all boils down to this one simple, unbreakable evolutionary rule. Don't spend energy unless the reward is worth it. Now, that instinct absolutely kept our ancestors alive. But today, it's a huge roadblock. When a modern task seems hard, like, say, getting a degree that takes 4 years, or building a business that won't pay off for months, your ancient brain fiercely resists. The payoff is just too far away, so it tells you to conserve your energy instead.
Part 2. The dopamine track. To understand why doom scrolling feels absolutely effortless while studying feels like pure agony, we kind of need to redefine a very popular word, dopamine. Imagine our ancestors spotting a tree full of rape fruit. Their brains immediately release dopamine. But here's the secret. It's not because they actually ate the fruit. It's because the brain is predicting a valuable reward. Dopamine isn't the chemical of pleasure. It is the chemical of anticipation. It's the biological engine that pushes us to act.
But just look at our environment today. Easy rewards are literally everywhere. Every notification, every short video, every single like exploits this prehistoric anticipation system. They offer this immediate, cheap payoff. And your brain? It quickly learns that it doesn't need to go out and hunt because the reward is sitting right there in your pocket. Compared to that instant hit, learning a complex new skill feels impossibly slow. Not because your long-term goals aren't valuable, but simply because they don't satisfy your ancient reward system right this second.
Part 3. The myth of weighing. And this brings us to a huge psychological hurdle, and honestly, perhaps the most pervasive lie about productivity today, the belief that you must somehow feel motivated before you can begin. The psychology shows us the exact opposite. Think about trying to push a heavy, parked car. What's the absolute hardest part? Getting it to budge those first few inches, right? Your brain works the exact same way. The first 5 minutes of literally any task are the hardest because you are fighting immense evolutionary friction. Notice the sequence here. Motivation isn't step 1, it's step 3. Waiting for motivation to just magically strike is like waiting for that parked car to start rolling all on its own. The snowball effect actually works like this. Action creates momentum, and momentum creates motivation. After you take that first step and push through those first 5 agonizing minutes, your brain adapts, your focus increases, the resistance drops, and you finally feel motivated. But only after you've started.
Part 4. Fear in disguise.
We really need to expose another surprising truth here. A lot of the time, what we label as laziness is actually just fear wearing a disguise. It's fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of making mistakes. Sometimes it's even the fear of success. Remember, your ancient brain treats uncertainty as mortal danger. Starting something new means stepping out of the safe cave and into unknown territory. Thousands of years ago, unknown places hid predators.
Today, unknown challenges hide learning opportunities, but your brain still reacts with that exact same ancient caution, basically encouraging you to procrastinate because it genuinely believes it is protecting your life.
Part 5. Rewiring for action. So, how do we actually bypass this outdated security system? Well, we hack our brain's natural love for progress. If you stand at the bottom and look at the peak of a huge mountain, your brain instantly says, nope, too much energy. But if you only look at the next 10 steps, suddenly it feels manageable. This is exactly why tiny habits are incredibly powerful. Read one page, do one single push-up, commit to just 5 minutes of work, write one paragraph. Every single one of these small achievements releases a tiny hit of dopamine, which tells your brain, hey, keep going. These small victories gradually rewire your brain to make taking action automatic. Part 6. The power of purpose.
This is the final piece of the puzzle, and honestly, it's what separates the people who temporarily succeed from the ones who achieve lasting greatness. Motivation fades over time, but purpose? Purpose endures through hardship. Motivation relies on fleeting feelings. Purpose relies on deep meaning and survival. Think about it. Our ancestors didn't brave the freezing cold because they woke up feeling super inspired. They hunted because survival demanded it. Purpose must always come before motivation.
So, you really have to ask yourself a critical question. Why does this goal actually matter? And I don't just mean today, I mean years from now. You have to dig deep for your long-term why, because having a clear reason creates the discipline you need to bridge that massive gap when your fleeting motivation inevitably disappears.
Part 7. The first step.
As we wrap up this explainer, let's bring it all together. We know our brains are essentially ancient machines designed to avoid risk and save energy, but our modern opportunities demand that we act long before we actually feel ready. So stop waiting for the perfect mood. It is a biological illusion. Motivation is not the beginning of success, it is the result of taking the first step. If you just start with one small movement, I promise you, your ancient brain will eventually catch up to your modern ambitions. I want to leave you with this final, powerful thought. One day, you'll look back and realize something incredible. The life you always wanted wasn't built by motivation alone. It was built by the moments you chose to move, even when you didn't feel like it. So as we finish up here, I leave you with one simple question to think about. What is the very next small step you are going to take right now?